My name's Hilary Robinson. I live in Toronto and I run MAJ Communications, which is a business that trains in business etiquette, social skills, personal development, and communications.
Fantastic. Thanks for taking the time out to share your story of the past 90 days. But before we even get into that part of the interview here, I'd love to find out, what your background is, what ended up getting you into doing this work. What are all the other jobs and avenues that you had before you even got to where you are? Because all of us have a very windy road.
We do. Yeah. We do have a very windy road. So my background in the main last 20 plus years has been running corporate events. Mm-hmm. So for everything from political parties to publishing houses to universities. What else did I work for? Small family-run businesses to giant megalith corporations.
Yeah.
And everything in between. So, but I've always had an interest in this stuff. I've always had an interest in how we behave with each other and why it's important and what difference it makes when we do it well and when we do it badly. And so that's the whole part and parcel of what I've decided to focus on.
Yeah.
It's called etiquette, but that makes it sound like I'm stepping out of Downton Abbey, and that's not what it is. For me, it's about understanding what the rules are, the parameters of the rules, so that when you go into a situation, you know whether or not you're stepping over a line or not. You can make that decision, right?
Sure.
Gives you a certain comfort level and a confidence level when you have that in your toolkit.
Yeah.
So that's really where that comes from.
Great. And so when we rewind back to the end of 2014, actually, before we even get into that, family, what's that like?
Single, no
Single.
kids. Okay. So I am in the most fortunate of entrepreneur positions. So I don't have to juggle 1,000 different things in my day, which is great.
Which is, that's huge. That's huge. Definitely.
And I feel for people who do, and I'm full of admiration for people who do, because holy hell, I couldn't do it.
It's well, here's the thing, you would, because you'd be put in that place because you're not going to lose the drive and ambition you have. It would just be different. That's all.
That's true.
Okay, so we rewind it back to the end of 2014. What place were you in your business that when you saw an email or a video, whatever, however you kind of got into this, what was it about where you were at that caused you to want to engage in it?
So when I came across the videos that you and Melanie did, I had been running this business full-time for about 7 months. Mm-hmm. Up until then, I'd been doing it part-time in conjunction with working full-time and earning a living. Yeah. So I'd been working on the business full-time for about 7 months, and I was struggling to find the systems that I needed and the focus that I needed to grow the business. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it.
Sure. Okay.
So I was looking for, and in fact, I wasn't even really looking, if I'm honest. I followed Melanie, stumbled across your videos, and took an instant liking to the kind of approach that you guys had.
Yeah. So. And so you were looking for just that structure and that system to really take the business to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you dive in, and what's been your experience like for the past 90 days?
Incredible. It's been the most incredible experience. I hand on heart, I don't suffer fools gladly. I don't put my money in places where I don't think it's going to bring back some
return.
Benefit and return. And honestly, from the second you called, about 2 hours after I put my money where my mouth was, the whole thing was incredible. Like I think you asked in the email yesterday, you were talking about sort of 3 words to describe this program. Mm-hmm. And for me, enriching was the first word that came out of my mouth. Yeah. And empowering and practical. And I'm a really practical person. Having done 20 years running events, I don't, I need practicality.
Yeah.
It's how my brain works.
Yeah.
So, and you provided all of that on top of a myriad of other things.
Yeah. It's what's funny so far is that the people who are, because we would be very similar, the people who want practicality or like data, or they want just some sort of research behind the thing that someone's presenting to them. Many of those people, like yourself, have used words like enriching and empowering, which are very kind of touchy-feely type words. And the people who are very touchy-feely, the things that they've said is like, well, I loved the control. I loved the system that I got from it. I loved the, and which is great. It's great. It shows the balance that, and I mean, I don't pretend like this was just my program, because the whole purpose behind really investing that time into that community that we've developed, and I say we've developed because, the leader has a responsibility to start it off strong, but I don't pretend like I know everything on the planet. And there's a lot of smart people that came into the program, and it was really great to see a lot of those, not to use an ethereal word, but a lot of those lights be able to shine inside the group as well. Because
that, to me, that was probably the most extraordinary thing for me, and I can't imagine I'm the only person to say this, was the way that community developed. And not just that, but the level of intelligence of the people in that community. Well, I mean, obviously they're almost 400 strong, so I'm sure that, there's a whole range, but when you post a question or somebody else posts a question and you get really thoughtful answers that have taken people time and effort to put in, and not because they're tooting their own horn or want to be seen, but because they actually want to be helpful. It really, I talk about this program all the time. All the time, because it's one of the best things. It's probably the best thing I've ever signed up for. That's fantastic. Hands down.
Yeah. So, any sort of like hard data like you've been able to get out of the program? Is there any like numbers that you reach? Any goals that you are actually able to hit because of it?
So hard data, no, I'm terrible at hard data. I need to get better at hard data, but certainly I have, since starting the program, built the business and acquired new clients. So I've got 3 new clients since starting the program, and put systems in place that allow me to build that even further. Great. So it's and saving time as well. I don't have a number on how much time I've saved or how much more I've managed to accomplish, because I don't measure it terribly well. I should. But certainly the new clients are huge, because that's where I need to. That's how I grow the business. Yeah. So.
And when you take a look at all the different types of businesses that are out there, do you think that this program's right for some and not right for others? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's probably right for most people. I think, in fact, what you've just said about the reactions that you're getting from the 2 different types of personalities says to me that you're speaking to both those personalities, but just in different ways, because people are taking different things out of it. So I can't imagine that there's a person or an industry that wouldn't benefit from the practical things that are in the program. I don't know that everybody would benefit from that sense of community, because some people just don't want to participate. But from the content point of view, the content that's in the program is, I would have thought, useful for anybody in business, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're running a corporation, or whether you're even sort of halfway up the ladder in a corporation.
And the reality is that content is inside of all of those different things as well. It's just that sometimes the word that we're using to kind of put the umbrella over top of it is just different for those groups. But it is, I mean, foundational principles are foundational principles.
Well, exactly. So, and they're useful in all sorts of places. And some of the the tips and things that you've offered us as part of the program, I can incorporate into talking to my clients about, because it works well. Apparently a buzzsaw has just started outside, so if you can hear it, I'm terribly sorry.
No, I actually can't. I can't hear a thing.
Because the walls in this, it's an old building, and the walls and windows are paper thin. So, no, I just think that the content, I would have thought, would be good for everybody.
So what are some things that you're excited about in the next phase of your next 90 days?
Going back and doing what I should have done a couple weeks ago. So going back and unpacking the last 90 days, and then focusing on the next 90 days now with all of this stuff under my belt. So, having lived through the first 90, when you're kind of feeling everything out, and now doing it again, I don't want to use the word properly, but doing it again with more focus.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's like, I think sometimes it's a new skill, and
Yeah.
we have to be mindful of that. And it's not about getting it right the first time. It's about just getting it out there.
Yeah.
And getting the feedback on it. So, was there any one big mindset shift for you that's happened over the past 90 days as well?
I think the idea of the 2-week goals
Yeah.
made a big shift for me, because it's so obvious once you're told it.
Mm-hmm.
But doing things in those small increments, allowing you to see what's working and what's not working, and then not putting good effort after bad because you've decided you're going to give something a 6-month run to see whether it pans out.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense, and it shifted how I was looking at everything I was doing. And it really made a big, big difference. That and the context switching for me, because I was going to say I'm terrible at it. I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
And now I have Todd Herman's voice in the back of my mind saying, don't do it. Don't do it.
My wife or my mom would probably say, poor you. All right. So what would be 3 words that you would use to maybe describe the program or myself as a part of the program?
Practical, enriching, empowering, community.
Mm-hmm.
I could give you a whole host of words. Thoughtful. Thoughtful is actually a huge one. The way this program was put together, in terms of you putting the elements, the practical elements together, so the deliverables that you were giving us, but then also the way you structured that community, because that was no accident. I mean, that, we know that. We suspected it, and then you told us. So, it's that, yeah.
Well, I mean, a big part of it is, I don't want to keep the veil behind why, or over, like, the secrets of why I would be doing things. It doesn't really serve, it doesn't serve that many. So, and there's a lot of, like, really smart, great people. And if you just explain the structure of, how to build great teams, and teams can be coming together. And this community is a great example. Teams can be coming together of people that don't even know each other, aren't living in the exact same area.
Yeah,
all have very different experiences and very different businesses.
Yeah.
But a team can be built. But there's a strong intention behind the why of how we're doing that. So
yeah. Well, and the fact that within that group has the spin-off groups have also now developed.
Yeah.
That to me is also incredible. And you look at the Kim and Laura friendship that's developed over 8,000 miles, and not just the friendship, but the partnership that they've developed in what they're trying to do it's extraordinary. It's great.
Yeah, it's very, there's so many great wins, and it's been fun to watch everyone, and it's all different types of wins too. Some of them are like really hard numbers about real growth, but then other people, they needed to get rid of the businesses. They need to actually just stop spinning wheels on things that just were maybe bad ideas.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. That's a huge win. And that's something typically an entrepreneur never does, which is walk away from something. They'll keep on grinding at it until, they make it work, because I'm a business owner and that's what business owners do. Well, a fly bumping its head up against a window is trying really hard, but is it the smart thing to do? No, there's an open window somewhere that it could fly out of.
Yeah, but it's probably one of the hardest decisions you can ever make, to let something that you were passionate about go.
Yeah, and because it's your idea. Anytime it's our idea, we always love it more than if it wasn't our idea.
Exactly.
So, anything else that you'd want to share before we wrap it up?
Just that, honestly, and I've said this to you before, but the thoughtful way that this was all approached, the fact that the information was practical, useful, well put together. The community was building from the very beginning. The fact that you make the time and effort to dip your toe in and answer all the questions and be there for everybody, which I think when we all first started was a bit of a surprise that you were that involved, particularly because we also all know how busy you are with the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I can't say enough things about it. If you actually charged what this was worth, there was no way I would have been able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, that for me too was huge. The fact that it was at a price point in my particular
wheelhouse
growth stage that I could afford made a big difference too.
That's great. That's great.
And the opportunity to carry it on, now for the next foreseeable future with you guys and everybody else in the next 90 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, that's a huge, huge bonus.
Well, I'm excited to see what everyone's next 90-day year looks like, and then the next 90-day year after that, because this compounding effect of just momentum and growth and focus on this continuous action. And it's not that we're supposed to be focusing on a frenetic pace. I mean, some of us, that's good for us. I mean, that's how I'm built. I like frenetic paces, but I mean, you can just dial down the volume on it a little bit, and it serves that person as well too. So, but it's about just getting your ass out onto that field of play, taking that action, closing feedback loops, getting answers. If you need community, there's a community there to help you out as well, and steer the ship back on course as well. So, super appreciate all the extra time or the time that you took out to share your story and your experience with us.
It's a pleasure. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the way it's played out?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You should be. I mean, you absolutely should be. But
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I had my kind of methodology for that community, and so I was very, very pleasantly surprised with the direction that it took off and how kind of responsible everyone was with regards to making sure that, there was no promoting that was going on inside of it. Even if there was, then it would typically be deleted before anyone else ever saw it anyway. But because you got to curate that right. But no, I'm totally happy. I mean, this was, like I said, this was the first time that I was really taking this information out to a broader group of people that were all at different levels.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm beyond excited about. Because when I start working with people, their businesses become. I tell people all the time that I don't care about your happiness, right? Like, you've heard me say that before, because happiness is a you thing; it's not a me thing.
Yeah.
And but I do care about your performance. And so when someone's working with me one-on-one, I tell them, like, okay, so after we go through an entire goal achievement process, and sometimes when you go through that process, you kind of take a look at that performance and all that process stuff that goes into it. Sometimes it's good to ask the question. Not sometimes, every time it's good to ask the question. Okay, do I actually want to do that now? And that's a big thing that's missed, because people think, oh, when I set the goal, it means I have to go do it. No. When you're going through that part, it's a thinking process. And then you go, is that the best thing that I should be doing right now? And it's okay to say no. But if you do put your name to signing it, now I'm responsible to the goal. I'm not responsible to you anymore. I'm responsible to that thing getting done. So I want your performance to show up on the field of play daily, and that's why I'll be hard on my clients, because they're the ones who said that they wanted it, not me. And I want to see that thing, come to pass. Yeah. But anyways, thanks again for taking all the time, Hillary.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Cheers. Have a great day.
Enjoy spring in New York.
You as well in Toronto.
Bye-bye. See you later. Bye.